on the back is a plate. So I want you to, at the end of the day, when we check out, what's going to be on your, what we're calling your performance plate, right? So we want carbs on there that provides us with energy for our workouts, as well as for our recovery. We want protein on there, which is really important for muscles, right? And muscle growth and repair after a hard workout. And we want to make sure there's color on there. Fruits and vegetables provide us with color. It's got a lot of vitamins and minerals, which are really important for recovery from our sport, but also keeping our immune system healthy and growing, all those things that are happening for you right now. So on your plate, when you check out, you're going to be making sure we have that performance plate, all those different items. So try it as we go. What are you going to put on your plate when you're checking out today? I also included, when we come to the grocery store and you're trying to create your grocery list, which is on the back of this handout, you need to have a meal plan, right? So what's your meal plan for the week? What's breakfast? What's lunch? What's dinner? What's snacks? Some tips with making a meal plan for the week. Take into account, what do you have going on next week? When's practices? You know you're going to miss us. You know, you're going to be late one night. You got to have a dinner ready, or maybe you have an afternoon practice. You have to have a decent snack. So take that into account when you're planning your menu for the week. And then once you plan that, you've got your grocery list that you can fill out. It's organized by section of the store, right? That helps, so you're not coming into the store randomly going back and forth getting items. So that's helpful. So it's a blank list for you guys to use. And there was something else that I just thought it'll come back to me. And then we've got what's in season. So that's another thing that we'll talk about, especially in the produce section. So what's in season gives you the most nutrition bang for your buck, right? So what's in season in the state of Illinois, because every state is different. On the back of that's a recipe. Some tips here on healthy grocery shopping, a lot of which I'll cover today. And last but not least is a detailed handout that I'm definitely not going to go over, but I thought you might benefit from. So this is what we call our performance plate. So maybe you've seen this before. This is how to build that performance plate. You've got your carbs, your protein, your fruits and vegetables. When you're an athlete and you're in season and you're practicing multiple times a day, you actually want more carbs than some on days maybe on recovery or rest. So half your plate on days where you have a game or you have multiple practices should actually be those carbohydrate foods that are going to give you energy. On the days that you're not and you're on a rest day or a recovery day, then a quarter of our plate's a carbohydrate and half of our plate becomes those fruits and vegetables. Those are so important for recovery. As well as protein, that's always going to stay at a quarter of the plate. So protein is always going to be a quarter of the plate. So keep that in mind. There's also tips in here on what to do before a workout, hydration, good sources of protein. There's tips on lactose, and any athletes that are maybe lactose free, how you need to incorporate those foods into your diet. So long-winded overview just to start, but that's what's in your folders. There's some snacks in there as well in your bag. So I know you guys have had lunch recently, so maybe you don't need those yet. But that's kind of an overview. Top tips before we get started in produce. What's one thing we want to avoid coming to the store? Hungry, right? What happens when you show up at the grocery store and you're hungry? That's one of those things that you weren't planning on. Like, I know for me, it's usually some kind of Oreo cookie that I don't need, but I love, and then I bring that home and I'm like, why did I buy this? Even though they're good and it's fine to buy them. So try to come to the store, healthy snack in your stomach, and have your list. Don't forget your list, right? And one thing I do with the list is my husband and I actually do a Google spreadsheet where we fill in the list throughout the week. You never forget it because it's on your phone. If you have the paper list, I know yesterday we forgot our list and had to go by memory and it was not, we forgot most of it. So never forget your list if it's on your phone. That's another great way to make sure you have everything. Any questions before we get started? Awesome. All right, we're going to start in produce. Maybe we'll move a little bit back towards the bananas over there. Dietitian standpoint, I love that. And the way, some of my top tips in produce is make sure you're shopping colorfully, right? Different produce provides different vitamins and minerals. So to get the most nutritional bang for your buck, you get a wide variety of colors that provides you with a lot of different nutritional benefits, right? So fill your cart with all different kinds of colors. We also want to try to shop seasonally. So seasonal what's on display, what can you find that's kind of being marketed or advertised right now. You see watermelon, different berries, things like that. So that's going to be what's peak of production. Obviously, we live in Illinois. We're not going to get a lot of fresh seasonal produce in the middle of winter. So that's when things like frozen or canned fruits and vegetables come in really handy. Try to make sure you're in a wide variety, as we mentioned. I also like to consume the more perishable produce, things like berries and lettuce and leafy greens earlier in the week if you're doing like one shopping trip per week, and then things that last a little bit longer, fruit, vegetables, apples, oranges, bananas, things like that, you can save for later in the week. Make sure you always have a piece of fruit or a vegetable at every meal or snack. That's another thing I think as athletes, you know, you're thinking about snacks, maybe you're just grabbing a bag of chips. Add a piece of fruit. That's an easy thing you can do to help support your nutrition and make sure you're getting all the vitamins and minerals that you need. Questions in produce? Anything lingering? Nothing? One thing I'll point out, you know, we've got lots of like great snack options, prepared items. You tend to pay a little bit more for convenience items in produce, right? So instead of getting the whole pineapple, which over there you can see is just $3.49, if you buy it already chopped up and they've done the work for you, it's going to be a little bit more expensive. Now sometimes that time savings is worth it, right? It means you're going to eat it, so that's worth it for you. So find those things that, you know, I know for me, bag lettuce mix, I'm always going to buy the bag salad mix. I'm usually not buying whole leaf with lettuce, but if you have the time and you want to save money, it's a thing that you can do, so get the whole fruit or vegetable. And that actually goes throughout the store, right? So if we're in the meat department, chicken, a whole chicken cut down yourself, it's going to be much more affordable, but if you don't know how to do that, maybe just get the chicken breast. And I also think it's more important that you're eating the fruit and vegetable, so make sure, you know, you're getting things that you'll eat and you'll consume and not waste, right? All right. I don't think I have any more tips in produce unless you guys have questions. We'll move on to the meat department. All right. I'm going to head straight back. This is another place where it sounds like a broken record, but we want to look at our ingredient list, right? So let's get my favorite. So we want to look at our ingredient list. So for this one, we're going to take it off the shelf, look at the back. It's got peanuts as the first ingredient and then 1% or less of salt. So I would say that's pretty good. That's pretty much what peanut butter should be, right? The natural peanut butters like this do separate. But this is going to be a better for you option than maybe something that is not separated, because the second ingredient on this one is sugar, followed by hydrogenated vegetable oils, which we want to try to limit. Those are not healthy fats, right? So fats we want to limit. And that just keeps it from separating, so it's something that they've done. The sugar's in there too. I like the natural because there's no sugar, and what you can do is when you get home from the grocery store, store it in your shelf upside down. That will naturally get the oils to kind of combine with the peanuts, and then when you open it, you just stir it a little bit and then put it in the fridge, and it won't separate. So that's a good tip for the natural kind. It's just a little bit better for you. Again, there's nothing wrong necessarily with the other types of peanut butter, but they are coming with that added sugar, added fats that we try to want to limit. So I've actually trained my husband even to like things that are lower in added sugars, and then when you have the natural, the one that is higher in added sugar, all of a sudden you're surprised at how sweet it really is. So you can definitely learn to like it. Jams and jellies, I would just also look for something that's 100% whole fruit. I like to take actual whole fruit and smush it onto toast and use that in place of jelly, but there are some good 100% fruit spreads that you can use, and that's just going to give you a little bit less added sugar and some more fiber. So look for those that should say 100% fruit on them. Same with just look for ones with less added sugar. So the canned fruits in water or in juice versus heavy syrups. But I think they're a great option, especially for busy students or athletes. Throw in and dried fruit as well. A great snack. Just look for ones that have no added sugar. Questions about peanut butter, cereal, fruit? You're also getting the hydrogenated vegetable oil and sugar. So it's kind of the pros and cons. If you wanted like a plussed up protein, I would call or plussed up peanut butter. I do like the, especially because they're in these little packets, which are great for athletes. You can throw those in your bags. Now this does have some dates for sweetener, but it also has egg whites, which gives it more protein. So instead of 8 grams, now you've got 9 grams. So it's not a whole bunch more, but it's another option. So I'll go this with the oh yeah, so they're basically going to be oil that's been made solid. So I always say when it comes to fats, we want to avoid the ones that are solid at room temperature because it's not exactly how it works, but it's like they're solid in your arteries. Right? So they contribute to cardiovascular disease risk. Hydrogenated oils are similar, right? So they're going to potentially contribute long term if we eat them all the time to heart health, not poor heart health, contribute to heart health. So we want to try to limit those whenever possible. So if you're thinking about cooking oils, try plant-based oils or something like looking at a solid fat. So it's solid room temperature, solid heart health. That's how I like it. To milk, your best bet is always to go with cow's milk from a nutritional standpoint, but also for your pocketbook. So there's lots of different options in the milk department now. Whenever possible, try to choose cow's milk first. You can go, the main differences when it comes to 1% skim, 2% or whole, the biggest difference there is just the fat content. So you're still getting the same amount of protein per cup, vitamin A, vitamin D, all those 9 essential nutrients in milk, regardless of fat content. The only thing that differs is the amount of fat. So I usually used to say 10-15 years ago, we told people skim milk only all the time. As a dietitian, that was what I was taught. We're learning now from the research, though, that the type of fat in milk is not as bad for us as we once thought from a cardiovascular standpoint. For multiple different reasons, it's more satiating. So if you do like whole milk in your family, as long as it's part of a healthy diet, it's definitely okay to continue including that. Especially for your kiddos, it's good to have that whole milk in the first few years of life. So definitely choose cow's milk first. If you have a lactose intolerance, then there are lactose-free options. Lactate is a great one. There's lactose-removed options. There's even milk now that's ultra-pasteurized and ultra-filtered, so it's higher in protein, lower in added sugar, carbohydrates. So it's a great option. The brand most people are familiar with is Fairlife, but that's another great option that you can include that's lactose-free. So for lactose-intolerant individuals, those are some great options. Remember too, if you're lactose-free or a lactose-intolerant individual, you can still eat dairy and you should still be including it. The severity of your symptoms will actually be improved if you continue to include forms of dairy in your diet. So lactose-free milk, yogurt, and hard cheeses typically are well tolerated, and they also provide you with that essential calcium, vitamin D, and protein. So try to incorporate those more into your diet as well. All right, so with the plant-based options, if you have a milk allergy and you have to resort to one of those, I typically recommend soy milk. It's the closest comparison to cow's milk. You'll get close to the same amount of protein and calcium. Often with those plant-based alternatives, those calcium, vitamin D, all of that's added and it tends to sink to the bottom. So the other thing to keep in mind is to shake it before you serve it so that you're getting all those vitamins and minerals that have been added to it. Those ingredient lists are important again to look at. If you look at milk, there's really no ingredients, it's just milk. But when you look at the plant-based alternatives, there are a lot of ingredients, so watch out for some of those added sugars and things like that. We definitely want to compare and contrast. But again, if you're just lactose intolerant, there's definitely some lactose-free options in the dairy department. And your best bet would just to be go with the regular cow's milk if possible. From a protein, from a nutrition standpoint, that's going to be your best bet for your dollar.